I greet my viewers with a liberal message, from such outstanding politologists like me, Armin Aknojan, actually. Well, I've been following that interview that Democratic President Obama gave to CBS anchor, to a CBS anchor, during that 60 seconds program. And actually, I was actually a little bit, had been a little bit turned off by that chauvinistic sentiment that President Obama was pushing, and his chauvinistic claim that recent, military operation against Navy SEALs 6 operation against Osama Bin Laden, terrorist mastermind Osama Bin Laden's compound, and I believe that this particular operation against this Osama Bin Laden terrorist masterminds Osama Bin Laden's compound is another sign that. But actually, Pakistani military intelligence started. They actually, played quite a role in actually in the workings of Al Qaeda. But Pakistani military is likely, very intelligence source is likely to actually to have Al Qaeda terrorist groups, and use them as a weapon for outside attacks, against Western troops, against United States, because we actually protected this compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. But the main idea is that Navy SEALs attack against that terrorist compound of Al Qaeda's the mastermind Osama Bin Laden, is that they should have seized Osama Bin Laden alive. First of all, MSNBC host Lawrence O'Donnell stated that recently has stated that Navy SEALs from 16, action team 60, team 6, they have actually killed unarmed terrorist mastermind from Al Qaeda, Arab nationalist group at Osama Bin Laden. They actually shot him dead, They should have seized him for a trial. And in the second, they shot his son dead, they shot his unarmed son dead, they shot his wife as well, And we shown that a number of people were shot dead, and President Obama claimed that there was too dark way in the compound. Was Navy SEALs, special operatives, they had those flashlights ready and attached to the barrels of some machine guns. In the second place, in the first place, in the second place, they should have thought that they're coming to seize those terrorist mastermind, and it's actually what they did was just assassination. An assassination of suspected terrorists is illegal, and I believe the United States military operates by the code of military justice, which precludes killing unarmed civilians. And I believe that killing unarmed civilians is a crime, especially for United States military personnel. And I believe that assassination of suspected terrorists is illegal, it violates Geneva International Arms Accord, and it violates Helsinki Human Rights Act, signed by and ratified by the United States in 1974. And I believe that President Obama should consider this perpetrated, assassination of terrorist mastermind of Al Qaeda, Osama Bin Laden, is a victory, because the victory would have been if it taken him alive. But in the second, there is no proof whatsoever that Osama Bin Laden was shot and killed. President Obama makes a big mistake, and he is quite very reactionary about not releasing pictures of assassinated terrorist mastermind Osama Bin Laden. Therefore, he leaves leeway for speculation, but he might have been alive or might have fled and we didn't catch him, you know. And I don't believe that Osama Bin Laden was shot dead because President Obama might be bluffing. You know, he might claim that he's seen the photos, but he hadn't seen anything. And he's deceiving the American public, you know. And people shouldn't be gullible about statements of President Obama. President Obama, first of all, was paid, excuse me, was paid mercenary with Gamaliel Foundation, was actually financed by fat cats, you know, and rich tycoons from Illinois. And he used to leave loopholes for wealthy. He said that he wouldn't raise taxes on people who making less than $250,000. He's leaving a huge loophole for wealthy who make more than $80,000 and up to $250,000. He wouldn't raise taxes against them, so therefore he actually opposes raising taxes against the wealthy. And I believe it's more Republican position for the Democratic Party. President Obama promised to stick to democratic ideals. He was actually nominee of the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party. And I believe it's his betrayal of democratic ideals that President Obama refused to raise taxes on anybody making more than $80,000 a year, individual basis, because those are wealthy people, and we should pay their fair share. And President Obama shouldn't sell out to the wealthy, you know. And I believe that MSNBC host Rachel Maddow exposed President Obama corruption. She claimed that President Obama actually has released his tax return for year 2007, in which he made about $90 million in so-called fees for his autobiographical book, Audacity of Hope. And I believe it was $90 million. The book never made 80 million copies sold. It was simply a bribe paid by his wealthy tycoon sponsors, you know, like Mr. Champion from Chicago, you know, who actually paid him a bribe for not raising taxes against the wealthy. In the second, President Obama is a member of the Rod Blagojevich clique, you know, former corrupt Illinois governor who received bribes to the amount of $400,000 from wealthy patrons in order to not to raise taxes against the wealthy individuals, and who's now been convicted on charges of corruption and received 5 years of jail and time. And actually his new corruption trial is on the way. And I believe that President Obama also helped acknowledge and accept that Senator Burris, who was illegally appointed by disgraced ex-governor of state of Illinois, Mr. Rod Blagojevich, in exchange for $23,000 of illegal donations to former governor of Illinois fund, you know, election fund. And I believe that President Obama should actually release those pictures of terrorist mastermind Bin Laden, those pictures of assassinated terrorist mastermind Bin Laden, in order, Osama Bin Laden, in order to gain credibility, to establish credibility for what he's saying. Because if he claims that he is dead, and when he made a journalist, you know, major American TV station repeat that he's buried at sea, it sounds too much of a lie to me, you know, it sounds incredible. It's incredulous and unfeasible, and sounds too much of a lie. And unless I see those pictures, and like the rest of the American public, but, to make sure that Osama Bin Laden was really shot dead by Navy SEALs, I wouldn't believe it. And in a second, you know, I believe Obama administration is actually on the right way, you know, of releasing pictures of seized by Navy SEALs, you know, team that attacked Abbottabad compound of terrorist mastermind Osama Bin Laden. And actually, but those pictures show a gray-haired and all the Osama Bin Laden, the terrorist mastermind of Al-Qaeda, Arab nationalist terrorist network, watching his own movies. And I believe that it just showed that he lived there. It proves only he lived there. If was journalists, some MSNBC journalists like Lewis O'Donnell, would state bluntly that it proved that he was being shot dead. It doesn't. We need to show pictures that somebody was shot dead in the compound. Maybe they had fled, the compound before the Navy SEAL arrived. And maybe President Obama simply lied to the American public and trying to pass away with fancy fairy tale about the demise of a terrorist mastermind. They will simply tell the truth, And in the second, I believe that President Obama mentioned that what people who doubt his fairy tales, his tough statement of that actually endorse state terrorism and assassination of suspected terrorists. It's actually a very, in my opinion, it's outrageous, and it's illegal to kill terrorist masterminds. And President Obama might actually face impeachment if he keeps receiving bribes like $19 million from for his book deal, or if he actually for refusing to raise taxes against the wealthy, and or for lying to public that Osama Bin Laden is dead. The only irrefutable evidence of terrorist mastermind Osama Bin Laden being dead are those pictures being taken by Navy SEALs from Team 6, action team of Pentagon. And I believe it was a statement of President Obama that if he releases those pictures, that whole world of outrage will follow, is untrue. You see, the problem was with Afghanistan and Pakistan, but fellahs there, or peasants, workers, make about $1 a day. It actually makes them very mad, in my opinion, I'm a psychologist. People who make $1 a day is a ripe product of foreign terrorist movement. Because actually, if Pakistan and Afghan government cannot make workers make more than $1 a day, make about at least $20 a day, again, Pakistan society will be actually a ripe material for any terrorist movement. Because poor people at inadequate diet of poverty, predisposes individuals, to engage in terrorist activities. And unless it was imperialist, actually, domination of wealthy American society over its poor Afghanistan, Pakistan's societies continues, will be ripe material for international terrorism. And actually, US President Barack Obama shouldn't forget that we live in a society where social injustice causes so much terrorism, actually, in this world. And I believe that narco-terrorist groups like Mohammed Ali that attacked the United States and killed 3,000 Americans during 9/11 bombings, actually were inspired by Taliban movement, neo-fascist Taliban movement, and neo-fascist Bin Laden, leader of Al-Qaeda terrorist network. And we try to punish United States, American society for supporting Israel as its ally and supporting human rights causes with humanitarian aid and secret operations and clandestine operations. But I believe that Al-Qaeda is actually a group of narco-terrorists and Islamic fundamentalists, of course, without that. And actually, but the sure way is to fight terrorism is, avoid assassinations of terrorists, is putting terrorists on trial. Put them on trial and let the judge sentence them, give them a lengthy felony prison sentences, but do not kill them. It's illegal to kill suspected terrorists. And President Obama simply provokes more violent reaction of Afghan and Pakistani society. It's another example of that proneness of Islamic societies of Pakistan and Afghanistan to terrorism is that recent statement at Yahoo.com, and when which shows the riots, Afghan riots, in which Afghan Islamic extremists, attacked and killed foreigners or representatives of the United Nations. They killed about 7 United Nations non-Muslim representatives out of hatred towards foreigners. And that's what inadequate diet of poverty does. Poor Afghan workers, they rioted and killed was foreign representatives of the United Nations because they were poor, they had nothing to eat. And they rage against the injustice, and poverty of Afghan and Pakistani society turned to, spill onto riots against foreigners, which in which a number of United Nations employees, 7 were assassinated and actually lynched by the lynch mobs, that burned American flag and actually were probably inspired by Islamic extremists in Islamic society. Yeah, because therefore I think that President Obama should, implement more democratic policy. He was endorsed by Democratic Party and won't get second term unless he starts follow guidelines of Democratic Party in order to gain political longevity. I believe that Democratic President Obama should actually make sure that U.S. Supreme Court issues arrest warrants for suspected terrorists and serve those arrest warrants along with Navy teams and delivers terrorist suspects, for trials, like been done with terrorist mastermind Mohammed Sheikh Mohammed and our terrorists, who actually put on trial and were convicted and sentenced to life in prison, behind bars, but they were not assassinated, because this assassination is a villainy and cowardly attempt to shut down the evidence, to prevent witness from providing evidence, to attempt to to stop testimony of potential victims or potential perpetrators and culprits, in order to get away. I believe those ex-President Bush is responsible for those terrorist attacks because he actually attacks to the wealthy, and his federal agents, FBI agents, they didn't catch the rest of those Indonesian terrorist suspects who were actually known by FBI Director Mueller, and at the time we were known to Indonesian Al-Qaeda suspects, United States. FBI agent didn't arrest them, and CIA actually didn't pursue hideouts of Al-Qaeda, and we were unable to stop Al-Qaeda. And United States Air Force pilots, didn't stop those 4 planes of being piloted by terrorists, Al-Qaeda terrorists, Arab nationalists, by the group of Mohammed Atta, because we actually were unable to stop terrorist planes because those guys unfortunately hired some neo-fascists, who were unable to defend their country, So it's this kind of thing that happens when the government is sold out to narco-mafia, when government is sold out to neo-fascists, when government didn't protect Americans during 9/11 bombings. That's why 3,000 people died in this part because of the fault of those neo-fascists, like Bush administration and neo-fascists of the country, who refused to hire American patriots, instead hired neo-fascists. When I myself, was applying for a job with FBI and say I never got any job whatsoever. Well, I have a bachelor degree in science of psychology. I have business degree, associated business degree. I have a 3.5 GPA average from California Coast University and accredited behavior school, accredited California College. Well, actually, and I believe yet that I'm an immigrant and I'm a liberal Democrat, and the corrupt Obama administration, very corrupt Republican Home Minister Robert Gates, they actually will never hire a liberal or Democrat, because of the reactionary position of their chieftain, their own reactionary positions, And I believe that President Obama should actually raise taxes against the wealthy, and should establish living minimum wage, and should actually raise taxes on individuals who make more than $80,000, and close the loopholes for wealthy. But since he's so corrupt, he's want to follow the fate, the sorrow fate, the sad fate of his former co-master, Democrat Rod Blagojevich, who 2 times governor of Illinois, who got convicted on corruption charges for 5 years, convicted on corruption charges. It's fine. He might follow sad fate as well of late President Richard Nixon, who got impeached and by United States House of Representatives and was later removed from office to avoid conviction by in the USA. So President Obama should consider his chauvinistic fervor and normal attitude, and she should consider his stubborn and adamant attitude to avoid telling the truth to the American public, to avoid showing pictures of assassinated terrorist mastermind Osama Bin Laden, which makes me think that Osama Bin Laden wasn't assassinated. He simply fled the compound and avoided being assassinated. And because that's why President Obama actually hides the truth. Instead, he bluffs and deceives the American public and tells them a lie, an outright lie. And as an psychologist, I firmly believe that President Obama is capable of very reactionary politics, and he has showed at times himself being quite a psychopath, a homophobe who had pathological attitude towards immigrants, towards liberals, and I believe that President Obama should actually Nugent Paget should be elected by the influence of the Democratic Party, and if that influence is gone, he may follow this very sorrow fate, of Rod Blagojevich, his corrupt clique he was shown by on cable TV on CNN. So that President Obama better change his politics and be truthful to the American public, unless he wants to get impeached, of course.